Hey guys, Charlie here, and welcome to another video. In today's video, I want to share with you guys a little experiment I'm gonna try out today. Well, starting tonight and for the next 3 days. If you ever felt like, have you ever actually felt like putting 1 hour or on of working, of productive work on your side business seems a little bit too hard in comparison with checking your phone, scrolling Instagram, or playing video games or watching Netflix? If that's the case, which is more likely, it is because of dopamine. And recently in my life, I've been felt a little bit off in my productivity. So I was searching for answers and I came across something that is called dopamine detox. So I wrote in a document right here what are like the most important aspects on this and how I'm gonna do it. So if you want to try it, you are free to do so. There's nothing like that could go wrong. Obviously, I recommend you educate yourself on the topic a lot before actually doing it. And when you decide, like, don't postpone it too much. Like, just decide to do it one day and simply read what you have to read and get on with it. So, the main question, obviously, well, for me is how do I become more productive, and how do I actually get to do much easier the things that are hard for me to do, like putting that hour of studying or reading instead of 1 hour of Netflix, because it's so much easier to just chill and not do anything, especially if you work all day, you just want to relax, right? But basically, there was an experiment that was conducted on rats, and what they did is that every time the rat would pull a lever or press a button, something like that, there will be a dopamine release on that rat's brain. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, so I don't understand it like very deeply. I just know it's like a component or a chemical in our brain. So, for example, when we are thirsty and we drink water, we feel good. That's the dopamine that it's being released. There's a certain amount of dopamine that it's released when that happens. Now, every time those rats would press that button, they would get dopamine releases. So what happened? They would press the button all freaking day, right? They would be like pressing the button every day. They would not eat. They would not drink water. We wouldn't do anything but pressing that button. It makes sense, right? If something makes you feel that good, like you don't need anything. As like the dopamine they would get by eating or drinking water, um, like they they didn't. It wasn't like enough in comparison. So it was like an easy fix for happiness. And what the scientists did is that eventually they eliminated the dopamine release after they press the button. So if the rats press the button again, they would not get anything at all. So what was the effect that this caused? Well, or that this produced? Basically, the rats became unmotivated to do absolutely anything, because since they were used to getting so much levels of dopamine, when they didn't even want to drink water, because it was such a big effort they had to do, that it wasn't worth it. It wasn't enough. So they would only eat if they put the food on their mouth, like very close, because then the effort that they had to do was very very little. So they would eat, but they wouldn't make the effort of going like further for their food or for their water. And this is something that we experience a lot lately with social media, with internet pornography, Netflix, music, so many things out there. And it's actually a scientific fact that one of the things that give us the most dopamine is when you are giving a random reward. So if you've seen all these social media all the social media like documentaries, they talk about how they crafted social media to be like a casino machine. So every time you're scrolling, you are awaiting a random rewards. You don't know what's gonna come up, what's gonna come next, or every time that your phone like gives you this ring, you don't know if it's a like or a follow or a notification on something important, or you it's random. It's dopamine. And the problem with dopamine is the what the rats experience. So in my case, I was feeling this lack of productivity, this lack of motivation, and I think that it is due to dopamine. I am way too into dopamine. I'm watching too much my phone and many other things. So I searched on the internet, found this video, everything explained, and there is a solution that I'm gonna try, which is dopamine detox. So a dopamine detox is basically not doing everything that for you has a big release of dopamine. So, for example, in my case, let's say I play video games, right? And sometimes I play more video games that I think I should. And I could spend that time being productive and doing videos or improving my content, right? Things that would actually help me in the future. But I don't get the same amount of dopamine for doing those things than playing a video game. It's much easier to play a video game and get all the dopamine. So I'm doing this experiment in which I made a list of all the things that I'm gonna be able to do for the next 3 days and all the things that I can't do for the next 3 days, starting off tomorrow. Now I already have some other like challenges going on. I have like so many challenges going on. I don't know why. I think that's just the way I am. But obviously I have to keep doing those challenges, but they don't interfere. They actually help me because they are challenges that are like challenging me to do hard things or work. So they actually help for this specific challenge. They make them easier because I'm already kind of used to the experience, just not this hardcore. There are many things that I'm gonna cut. For example, I'm not gonna watch any Netflix. I'm not gonna eat food that it's not good for me. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna play video games and some other stuff. You do your list, the things that you feel you're addicted. I am going hardcore mode, so I'm doing everything that I think that it's not good for me. What you can do if you've never done any kind of challenge